welcome to the inaugural episode of the Spark Syndicate. Let's get it rolling. I am here with my co-hosts, Vince Pass, Chris Campbell. Why don't you guys go ahead and give yourself a little introduction?
I'll go ahead and take it. I'm Vince Pass, the hostess with the mostest, coming to you live from the East Coast. We're going to talk to you about e-commerce today and just in a back and forth, volley, natural conversation. This is totally unscripted.
That's for sure.
What's up, everybody? This is Chris Campbell. Basically, I'm looking forward to this conversation today, specifically around just my experience with shopping, and hopefully we can give you some insights as well as learn from each other, and then see what you guys have to say after this.
All right. Well, let's get started. Thank you guys for being here. And we're going to keep this, as Vince said, completely unscripted. I don't know where the show's going to go, but we're going to have a fun ride and we're going to enjoy it while we're on the journey. Chris opened up the show talking about some shopping experiences. Sounds like you had an interesting ordeal this past weekend for Black Friday.
Yeah, it was actually. I was out and about. Just had to do a quick run to a big brand retail store, and I was looking to purchase some items real quick for the holiday. And as I was shopping, I was actually taken aback by the bad experience of when I went to go purchase an item. And actually purchase the item, when I went to go scan the items had a QR code on there. And when I took my phone to actually see the QR code, I thought the app was going to be able to bring up that item, allow me to add it to my shopping cart, or even allow me to basically look at it or purchase it later. But it didn't do that. It actually went to their website and actually showed me a bunch of other different items that they have that were featured. So I just thought it's a really bad experience. And then I didn't stop there. I went to several different items, and then mind you, I was. These items were $150, $200 per item. And I was looking at spending, an upwards of $1,000 that day. I'm an in and out type of guy. If I know what I want, I went there exactly to find what I wanted, because I couldn't find it online. So I went to the store and it was there. And I said, okay, let me go ahead and look at this, scan this on my QR code, because I don't know the exact size. So that way I can just put it in my cart and later come back once I find the size. Nope, it didn't happen. So then what I did was I called the store manager. I said, am I doing something wrong here? I said, I'm in technology. This should work. So, we went to another item. I got my phone out. I put it to the QR code. It did the same thing. It brought up their actual website. And he looked at me and I looked at him. He was like, that should work, shouldn't it? I was like, yeah, it should. It doesn't. He said, wow.
He might have been a little embarrassed.
He was embarrassed, and I was a little embarrassed for him too, because I really like the store. I'm a customer. I'm been a loyal customer of this big brand, but unfortunately, I just can't understand a company that would invest over millions of dollars in development and is a leader in this whole digital retail space, that they would have a bad customer experience like this. And then that's just that one side. That's just so they lost $1,000 in 15 minutes. Just think about the income velocity that they lost there. And then the other thing, so I decided to go back home. So I decided to go on the website and look at the items and try to purchase it there. And then when I put it in the cart, I try to basically select buy. It wouldn't let me buy it in the cart for some reason. He kept giving me an error code. And I have no idea what that was about. And I tried it several times. I tried it in Chrome, and I also tried it in Safari. And then I ended up going to the app. Then the app was fine.
Now, did you try a different card? Because
different. No, I tried all my cards. All of them. I'm serious. I don't have a lot of credit cards. I keep like maybe 4 good ones, and that's it. But I tried all of them.
Chris got all the credit cards.
Right. I'm saying, so it was an unfortunate experience, and that's why I think this kind of is one of the reasons why Sparkle Wide exists today. We're being able to bring that unified commerce experience. And that's the reason why, you all know, we all go out there and whether it's online, and we try to really document that buying experience, so we can collect that data and figure out ways to bring a better strategy and execution to companies that we're involved with today. But that was just a bad experience. And one of these trials that I went out there to do some investigation, to actually do some real buying, was really a bad customer experience.
Hey, now you tried it online. Did you try it in the app?
Yeah, I tried it in the app as well. I was having an issue with the app at first as well. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't the best experience. To be honest with you, the app is not great. I'm just gonna be honest. It's just I thought the app was better.
I mean, keep it all the way real. That's the call. We want to keep it all the way real.
I just gotta ask you something though. Why were you trying so hard to give them your money though? Like,
All right.
This is like, take my money, take my money.
trying hard. Like all I keep hearing in my head is never give up, keep trying, keep trying.
Right, it's my determination. No, but I will say the reason why is because I needed some running gear, not just for for family members I was buying, but for myself, and I wanted to purchase it. I travel back and forth right for different places, and I always try to run or mainly around cycling as well. So I just needed this item, and then I want to get it before it sell out because it was a cyber the cyber weekend, and you want to get that discount, right? You probably able to save a few $100s. So, but I tell you what, based on that, one of the things that it did do, which is it'd be interesting to start to learn more about, is how has bad customer experiences pivot customers towards other brands in that given moment when that brand failed them. And that was that.
Yeah, all the frustration moment.
I was able to say, you know what, who else can I go to that is out there that I've heard a lot about, but I just haven't.
Absolutely.
I went to this company called Lululemon, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Lululemon. Yeah.
yeah, Lululemon. Yeah. So I went there and I started to look at their cart and their experience. It wasn't bad. I didn't even purchase anything, but I did get a chance to check them out, and I saw that they have some pretty good clothes, and it was pretty interesting. So I may end up checking some of their stuff out over the holidays and may purchase some running gear from them going forward and see how that experience is. So that bad experience led me to another customer who may have opportunities that I may be spending money with even longer period of time. And but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, how long does
I
it
mean,
take
that's the
your option two, right? How long does it take you? What level of frustration has to happen for you to get to your option two or for you to look for another option? Because they'll never know. This big box brand will never know. Because what do they always do after your purchase? What do they ask you? Rate us. What does the irate customer want to do? They've already wasted all this time on your website or your app. Are they going to give you any more time to rate them? In most cases, no. They swipe it and go on about their business. So the only way they're going to find out about this is at the end of the quarter when they're looking at their bottom line and they're looking at the sale. It's like, wait a minute, this is not what we projected, but I bet you didn't know your app wasn't working and your website wasn't either. But that's too
right.
late. That's way too late.
Yep, and just shows you that enough people are not getting out of their offices and engaging with the apps in an interactive way. Whether it's just and I know we talked about this. Like you said, I'm always talking about us what we do because I think we do a very good job at being intentional around really bringing really great experiences by helping develop companies' platforms. But to me, like the management staff inside of those stores should be like, hey guys, we are in a major holiday season right now, buying spree. Let's go ahead and make sure that our QR codes are working. And that they should be able to have those managers or the store employees test that QR code before that crazy weekend, went in there and say, what, they're working fine. And if they're not working fine, being able to directly communicate that to the development team at these companies who can solve that problem as fast as possible. Because like you said, it could have been, what if this was times 10, 100 people that had the same issue and walked away?
It's not an issue. It was. You weren't the only person. They didn't.
You weren't the only one, right?
Campbell to make that happen. I will say this though, I think that we're way too dependent on technology because in my history of working in big box brands, there was a buildup, there was a practice, there was a buildup to these big holidays. And a part of that buildup, one of the things that happened is your regional management teams, your district management teams, those people would pop into your store unannounced to make sure that you were ready. The items that were going to be on sale were available and they were merchandised correctly, and that the shopping experience that they would get impromptu should be the same experience that their customers would be getting. So as I said many times before, we're evolving and technology is taking us to places we've never been before. but that doesn't mean that we stop using some of those same tried and true principles that provided our customers with a high level of customer service and personalization. You still have to do that stuff with the apps. Like you were saying, that store manager had no idea, but what he did realize is if he doesn't meet the number that they have for his store at the end of the quarter or the end of the weekend, he can point back to that situation that you took the time to show him. It's like, I wonder how many sales we actually left on the table or in the
Oh, wow.
cart based on having, gaps in our software and our shopping experience.
And you know how they could have found that out easily? It was they didn't do. I have been a part of this app since it's been created in the App Store. They got to have some type of AI or some type of personalization technology embedded into the app. They should have known I was at the store. They should have known I attempted to add the QR code. They should have known that it failed. They should have, when I walked out of that store, there should be some type of sensor saying, you know what? Hey, we saw you left the store without purchasing the item that we saw that you attempted to buy. What was the problem? Is there anything that we can help you with? Can it here? Matter of fact, if you go back in the store, here's 10% off to go ahead and try again. Like, I mean, that to me is like that right there. Like, I love you guys. Thank you for that. That to me, you personalize it to me. But that, like, they don't even do that. It's like they just want my money. They don't care about me. They don't care about the
Well,
experience I have.
yeah, I think it's twofold, right? That's why we always talk about unified commerce, because the crux of that is the customer experience and the customer being everything and all the things that matter. If it's
Totally.
not about the customer and that experience, then it's almost not relevant.
Well said.
You know what I mean? Like it's about really refocusing that business all around that experience.
Think about it. What does the customer really want in these situations? They want you to be aware of their needs and they want to feel like they're a priority. But they want to do that without having to leave the comfort of their home. And even more so in this pandemic that we're dealing with, they want to have those same experiences as providing a gift to a loved one, even though they can't get into the store in most cases to purchase that. The fact that you're aware of what they need or what they might want means the world to them, and it makes their shopping experience personalized and easy. Easy. I want to
But
make it
how do
for you to
And
say,
now, guess what? Now the sale is over. It's going to cost more money to
Yep.
purchase the item.
yes.
So, but when you guys brought up personalization, and Chris was talking about AI, and they should have known that I had issues. I was in the store. How do you balance that new and advanced technology, the usage of that technology, with privacy concerns? Right? Because I think about that all the time. It's like, well, if I have the app and I'm in the store, it's easy to know you're in the store, right? If you use geolocation and things of that nature. But if you've disabled location services, they don't really know where you are because their app can't look at your phone to figure out where you are. So how do you balance that?
That's true, but I think like I said, if you're thinking about it from a leadership perspective, if you look at how your income velocity goes up tremendously during the holidays, you would basically aggressively say, hey, you know what? We are data advocates during this time. We're going to be hyper focused on protecting people's data because this is a very high shopping time. But we want to let you know that we have your back. With that being said, if you are looking for the best opportunity, the best discount, the best deal, disable
Best
the
shopping experience.
shopping experience, disable it so we can send you notifications of opportunities that are going to work in your best interest. At least say that, and then I can disable it. I have an app.
Sure.
Tell me that.
Well,
That
if they know they can potentially get a discount or something in return for
yeah.
that. I mean, that's exactly what you need to do in that situation. But again, I bring that back full circle. That's a choice, right? So
Right.
if you make the choice to disable your location for the store, now you are conceding that you right off the bat are okay with a lower level of personalization and customer service, right? Because I'm going to
Mhm.
tell you, if that location is on, I'm able to give you better customer service and offer you more options, whether that's discounts or to make you aware of things. But again, that's your choice. And this is all about giving them choices. We want to give them choices
Right.
as a retailer. We want to give them choices. We want to become their brand of choice, first of all. So we'll go over fences, valleys, and rivers like Chris to try to purchase for them. If we can, he'll take my money. But if we still can't do that, then we're forced to go to what? Option B.
Competitor.
Yeah, so option B, I may not have as many options with option B, but I can get all the options that they have available, I can purchase, which is different. I'm an in and out shopper. I mean, I don't know how you guys are. I know what I want. I'm in there. I get it. That's not really where I'm going to do my socializing. I'd rather do my socializing somewhere else. But I'm a
Yeah.
targeted shopper.
Yep. Same here.
Yep. I mean, that's a vast. I mean, let's keep it real, right? That's most of us guys. We're gonna roll in, and I'm out. I know what I want. I mostly mapped out exactly where it is. If I don't, I'm not afraid to say, where is this inside of a store? I'll ask for directions there. On the road, I ain't ask for no directions.
In a heartbeat, I will ask. Well, time currency. Like time currency is something
that's time.
You cannot get it back.
Right.
And so when you eat up someone's time, like Chris's time is valuable. Chris went and found the store manager. Like, and I'm sure that wasn't easy, not in the middle of Black Friday. Like he's somewhere in the store, she's somewhere in the store, but it takes time to find them because chances are they're getting an earful from somebody else as well.
Energy and time and energy is economics. Because
yes, that's right.
Time and energy, I'm not earning money somewhere else. And we all know everyone on this call is that time is very valuable and very expensive. So it's economics, and they should have done a better job at that. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's keep it 100. Yes, sir. All right, fellas. So part of the show that we do every week is we talk about who won for the week. So let's start with the wins. And Chris, we're going to go to you. Far as retailers go, which retailer do you think kind of hit it out of the park? Who won for the week?
Ooh, that's a good one. Who won for the week?
Now, Vince, you can't use Chris's. That's the rule. You got to find another one.
Okay. Who won for the week for me? It's going to be Patagonia. And the reason
why,
because Patagonia, they did something really good this time around that I saw for the first time is they almost did a, I don't want to call it a boycott around Black Friday shopping, but more like, hey, understand there are other things that are more important than just spending your money in shopping. They did a good job of like bringing that awareness towards social causes. Instead of shopping, how about investing in social causes? How about investing in bringing change? Go out there and do something. So I thought that was a big win, especially right now with the climate we're living in and all this, having this social isolation and getting people to engage in a social cause versus spending money somewhere. I thought was a major win.
Vince, who won for the week?
Oh, I'm gonna go in a little bit of different direction. I'm gonna say that our partners, the people that are, thought enough of us to partner that experience great Black Fridays, to the point of having almost 25% increases in their Black Friday bottom lines, like Columbia Sportswear, best Friday in their history. Yeah, I'm gonna go that route because you got to have great partners and you got to have people from the outside with a little bit of more of a diverse knowledge and the skills to help you get to where you want to be and execute your plan. So I'm going to go with our partners like Columbia Sportswear.
Nice.
Okay, nice. Let's see. Who do I think won for the week? You took Columbia, you took Patagonia. Y'all making it hard. Oh, I know one. What about Sephora? Sephora, I don't know if it's real yet, but they did make an announcement. They are going to create micro stores or mini stores or mini shops. I'm not sure what are they calling it?
Micro stores within Kohl's. Yes.
Within Kohl's, right. So I think it's like, if you think about that, right, Kohl's is like 800 Kohl's stores or 850.
Right.
They're going to create these, mini stores in like 800 plus Kohl's stores. So again, when we talk about unified commerce, like meet people where they are. So tell me more about this experience with Lululemon, right? So what do you think about the brand? I mean, they're kind of they're a much younger company
Yeah.
than the company brand you dealt with earlier. So they're probably a little bit more, I don't want to call them hip, but they are much more in tune. I think they're probably a little bit further along.
Yeah, I
What do
kind
you,
of
what do you think?
Closer to the market. That is one of my favorites. They're one of my favorites, but I can't wait to hear what Chris is.
no. I just like I said, I've read about them a lot. I've always thought it was a brand for women. To be
Mm.
honest with you, I've always just thought
I
it
mean,
was
it kind of started that way, right?
The way it started, yeah, absolutely.
yoga pants for women, and that's all I thought it was for. So I never went there. But then I was starting to see little ads here and there, and I said, wait a minute, this seemed like they got stuff for sportswear, sports tech for men.
Mhm.
So that's the reason what prompted me to. It just popped in my head because of bad experience. Prompted me, well, let me try them out because I heard so much about the CEO and the great thing they're doing over there. So first thing I did, I went to their app because, like I said, I'm on the go. I want everything to be mobile and convenient when I'm purchasing as much as possible. So when I went to the app, it was pretty nice. It wasn't bad. Easily added stuff to the shopping cart. But I think that experience overall for Lululemon was pretty good. Don't have anything negative to say about that experience. I did not purchase anything, so I don't know what the
Right.
checkout's like. I haven't been to any of the stores at all, so I can't really say too much about that. But I just know that the type of sports tech and running gear they have seems okay. It doesn't have the biggest a broad spectrum that I would like to have, but to me it was very interesting. I'm definitely going to go back and also even possibly purchase some things for family for the holiday because they had a lot of cool stuff that I liked on the site.
So was that vision
Yeah.
that vision was on the site? Have you received any emails since you went there and didn't purchase anything?
That's a good question. No, I don't think I have. 'Cause I did on my phone. I did go to the website as well, of course, because I always it's just a natural thing for me to look at the app and go to the website. Um, but I have not seen anything. But then again, I haven't been on any sites to where I think they can advertise to me. I've been on just kind of on business, business projects, nothing where they can send advertisements. So I just got to check that out. If I go to another website and see if they pop up somewhere, right? If I'm checking it out, so they
Yeah.
I would imagine that they're going to do that. But I'll definitely look out for
Yeah.
that if they do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, look out for the retargeting. Next time you're on any kind of social media, see if you see something pop
Yeah.
up from them. I would assume so. They are a bit more nimble than some other older companies. I'm not gonna try not to bash some of the old companies I work with, like the Bank of Americas, AIGs, IBMs, right? They're really big, been around for 100 years. They've gotten so big that they can't really move. They're
Yeah.
not nimble. They can't turn. So Lululemon's a kind of a younger kid on the block, if you will. But they overtook Nike at some point as the number one apparel company.
See? Wow. See?
Yeah,
Well,
I,
that all goes back to that too big to fail, right? We've all seen those documentaries, Too Big to Fail, and so you're sensitive. Like you could die by 1,000, or in this case, if you're the big brand, 1,000,000 cuts before you feel it and you adjust to it. Or you could be somebody like Lululemon, who they use the targeted approach. And so I'll tell many people, so the most expensive part of retail always was brick and mortar, storefronts, the renting of the space to actually merchandise your items. But then you had companies like Avon and those people who felt like the best way to get to these housewives and these purchasers was to have people embedded within the community, and that's how you are able to gain quick brand recognition because you're buying from someone that you trust and you become a repeat customer. And so they were able to do that. Like you were right. I mean, I knew them as a female yoga pants, athletic apparel company, but we found out about them through friends because they would have Lululemon parties, those kind of events where they can order.
that's pretty cool that they were
Yeah.
doing.
Lululemon parties, or are you talking about Avon?
I don't know
No.
like Avon, but that's pretty cool. But it makes
They had Lululemon parties.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
must live in the suburbs, because I.
I do. Hey,
I didn't look at either, but it sounds it's a grassroots way to do it. Makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So you build up that groundswell from a marketing standpoint, and now you have a base, and then now you introduce the app, and now you get an opportunity to shop through the app. Now you got social media that's involved with it as well. And now they're
Mhm.
wearing your items on social media, and that becomes part of the campaign. And then it just grows like wildfire. And then you overtake one of the, I don't even want to call them the gentle giants, but you overtake the too
No,
big
they're not gentle.
the too big to fail, and you replace them as the number one apparel. Like, how does a little company like that do that? By being very targeted, by
Well, they're targeted, but they also grew into a couple of segments, right? So one of the hottest segments, if you follow apparel, is athleisure, right? That whole crossover appeal from highly structured business to like I'm just chilling,
dress
right?
it up, dress it
I
down.
got dress it down, right? I got on, Chris got his jacket on. I got on my I don't know what kind of jacket, this is a little Nike jacket. I got on my joggers today. Um, Especially during the times of COVID.
It's gonna cost them for me to wear.
I mean, if you still wearing a 3-piece suit in the times of COVID, I'm wondering who has control of your time, because
Right.
let me look at this camera one more time.
I would just like to take this time to say I don't wear logos on these videos unless I'm paid. I'm just saying. But anyway, no free and this at this point, but I do understand what you're saying, and that just happens to be one of those too big to fail companies that you have on your chest there. But the death by a thousand cuts, market share globally, not just here in the United States,
Right.
but there is a benefit from being one of these smaller companies that have a better understanding of what their customer profiles are, or those profiles that they choose to target because they know they're going to offer the most return and bottom line revenue, and they believe they have something that is going to appeal to them. There, that allows them not to waste money, because we all know that a lot of these too big to fail companies have a built-in waste factor that is a lot larger than most people's complete budgets. But we all don't have it like that. So
I mean, you're right. I think a lot of these folks sit around in their boardrooms and the conference rooms, and they have people making decisions who they're just not in touch. They're not online. They don't know where the 15 to 20 somethings year olds are. They don't, I mean, they can barely spell TikTok. Or if they do know what TikTok is, they just looking at it for the funny little videos and people singing and dancing. They don't actually understand and see that as a way to do guerrilla marketing, or to reach a whole new group of people, or to try something and put a concept out there and see what happens. If I throw this out there, does it spread like wildfire, or does it just fall off?
yeah, I would challenge all of those people in those boardrooms. I would challenge them to produce a picture of them wearing their apparel. Perception is reality, but I think sometimes at some level you have to eat your own dog food, right? You have to know what your people are consuming, what your customers are consuming. I mean, do you even like it? Because chances are, if you don't like it, they may not like it. But how are you ever going to know
And
that?
even if you don't like it, right? Who's your demographic? Who you're trying to get to? If you're trying to get to college age, or kind of right out of college, those young professionals, do you even know where they are? Are you meeting them where you are? We talk about meeting the customer where they are. Do you know where they are? Do you know what apps are you? You're on Facebook. If you're older, old as we are, or older, odds are you're. My kids aren't on Facebook. They're like, Facebook. That's for grandma.
If you want to find me right now, the quickest way to get to me is at my MySpace page. That's
Oh my gosh.
vince.com. I will be there. I got all my music, everything. No, and it's everything ages, technology ages. But we discussion like with some of the prospects that we've been talking with. So it's about meeting where they are, the influencers. Like we can talk forever about influencers and where marketing dollars are being spent there now. Like people within the community that have huge followings on social media will get you more bang for your buck than running a commercial nowadays because people don't
So
watch TV. But
right. So how does this big brand, and maybe this is for you, Chris, how do you take this huge behemoth that's a lot like the US Congress, right? They don't move fast. Let's not go there. But think about how slow Congress is to adapt and understand. I mean, think about that. They were asking Zuckerberg questions about the iPhone. That's how out of touch some of the folks in Congress were. I would hate to say that some of these, higher level folks at some of these big companies, I know they're not that out of touch. But if they are, how do they behave more like a startup? How do they do and utilize these local influencers that Vince was talking about on social media? Like how do they act big but think small? How do they do that?
I think it has to be embedded deeply within the strategy, but the strategy has to come from a very diverse group of individuals. I think
Okay.
all these companies, executives, all look alike. All of them are somewhat in the same age range and the same income bracket. So money has a funny way of making you steal, not only
Stick
just
together.
creatively, but also
Mm.
it slows down your intellectual stamina to a certain extent, and that's what we're seeing a lot of. And some of that has to do with the presence of technology and AI and machine learning doing solving all the problems. People feel like they don't need to
Mhm.
do that; it's just going to come their way. So, but I think that the future really lies in the acquisition or the recruitment of diverse individuals from backgrounds that have grit, right? Who are
Yeah.
hustle hard,
Hustle, grit.
both
Yeah.
smart and book smart, because like you said, we're all about mobilizing winning culture, right? From Spark perspective,
Right.
but we believe you do that with people who think, speak, and act differently, and that way they can bring a different creative perspective. And I think that has to be the main driver is bringing that whole diversity of diverse talent in the organization, and then allowing those individuals to be in charge of decision making so they can see the landscape differently from what you're doing. And then just go out and just try something, right? Try to go from concept to cash in 1 to 3 weeks. Don't
Yeah.
remove all the bureaucracy. I mean, look, I'm an agilist at the end of the day, but don't try to be
Mhm.
a major heavy process guy and implement all these processes. No, stay startup mode, stay street smart, stay book smart, and then just try to drive towards that customer experience as fast as possible, a remarkable customer experience as fast as possible. And then I would say the third thing is also look for really major cross brand collaborations. I mean, you mentioned, I think, not too long ago about
Yeah.
the article we just had, that did an interview on us, right? Around, you talked
GAO.
Virgil Abloh and LVMH, right? So you can talk
Yep.
about that. But I mean, being able to do stuff like that, or like look what Shopify is doing with TikTok, how they are creating these micro stories to
Mhm.
brand awareness, right? There needs to be strategies in mind, but it has to come from a very youthfulness injection, or a generation of well established leaders who has the intellectual stamina and the creativity to move forward and think as they are today versus yesterday.
man, you used some good examples there, but I mean, let's bring it back just a little bit. So we talked about the government, we talked about Congress, we talked about these large companies, and all I heard was term limits, right? You have people there that have done things the
Get
same
out.
way for so long. And it worked at one point in time, but I got to bring this back full circle is technology drives everything now. And once, when there was not technology, you had time to really sit in the lab and perfect something. And
Yes.
I think anybody that's running a successful startup or a company right now will tell you that success comes from failure. So you have to try new things, and that's what you're talking about, Chris, bringing in this new blood. But when you start to talk about social media, that lab and that lifespan, that half life of social media is so short. You can be hot one day, make a bunch of money, don't have to be hot again for the rest of your life. But it happens quickly, like iPhone releases. Now, new technology is coming like that. And guess what's following that? the expectations of the shopper and the customer. Are they going to wait for you to release something for a year? Do not be afraid to try new things and to
Mhm.
fail, to learn through failure. And when we talk about failure, we're not talking about huge investments from an economical standpoint. We're talking
Right.
about getting outside of the box with that infusion of new talent and diversity that you're talking about, to say, hey, let's sell hiking clothes and shoes to minorities.
Mhm.
You know, that's something that they do. There's a lot of companies out there. You never until recently seen a hiking or a mountain climbing commercial with a brother, a sister, a Latina, a Asian, anyone other than a specific, look of a person climbing a mountain. They're not the
I
only
mean,
people.
you're not wrong on that statement.
But think about that untapped. All right, so when you think about everybody has to have their Timbs. In New York, everybody has their Timbs. Like,
Oh man, can we pause? I mean, not really pause, but can we
come
talk
on,
about
come on.
our buddy can get his Timbers a run over?
Yo,
Oh man, Chris, I'm gonna have to tell you the story one day. But long story short, think about the cartoons back in the 80s, right? Cartoons, somebody run over your foot in the cartoon.
Yep.
Um, one of our college buddies saved up his money, and we're old, right? He saved up his pennies and bought himself a new pair of Timbs. He was so proud of those Timbs. And man, he put them on. He was fresh. We were going to the club one night. We got out the car. Were we in my car? Were we in Rock?
you're in the Sirocco. Yeah, we were. Yeah.
We were in Rock. We got out and he stepped on the corner. This is back in Tallahassee. Tallahassee got some big trucks. And sometimes you could turn the corner a little too close. You roll up on the curb. Man, dude turned the corner and rolled over my homeboy's foot.
Good thing they were still told.
Oh, I know. It was so funny. It looked something like straight out of cartoon. You see the black, the tire print over the everything.
Yeah, man. And hey, good thing he didn't have on some Jordans. If he had on some Jordans, he would have had a broke foot for real. Like that was,
Yeah, if he had on some Jordans, that toes would have been gone.
oh my God. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of that. You got to put different people in your shoes. You got to ask different people what they think about your product or whatever it is that you're selling, because you never know where that next demographic is going to be if you're sitting in the ivory tower in a boardroom and not really knowing what's happening in the streets. You cannot have people within your organization who are unwilling to share that with you because they don't think you're gonna listen. That has a
Yeah, and I think what both of you guys are hitting on it is diversity of thought, background, all that stuff. It's culture,
Yep.
right? That's what some of these folks are missing. And I think, Chris, when you mentioned Virgil and kind of pairing up with LVMH, right? LVMH, there's a certain demographic on the planet that knows LVMH. And there's a bunch of people that don't know what that is.
Right.
Now, there's a bunch of people who know what off-white is. They look like us.
Yeah.
Now, some of the folks who look like us don't know anything about LVMH or all the houses that are the fashion houses and the liquor houses and whatever that are under that brand. They might know Louis, but they don't know Louis part of LVMH.
Right.
Right. So now, because of that pairing, they can reach a whole different segment of the globe, a
Yep.
different group of people that don't necessarily know anything about all the other brands that are part of that family. It was like 200 brands or 200 houses under there.
Oh yeah. Easy.
It's global. It's huge. I mean, it's fashion, it's jewelry, it's alcohol. Um, I know I'm missing something. I mean, it's everything. So, but by pairing those two, you're open up. Yeah, your lifestyle. You're opening it up, and you're also taking something that's. Let's keep it real. Off whites are very expensive,
Mhm.
but there are people who will save up to get those off whites. Now you compare that with high fashion, because that's that crossover appeal. It's the same crossover appeal that the Lululemon founder, Chip Wilson, that's what made him successful. People wanted to have workout, the stretchy black tight pants to go do yoga in and work out. But then they figured out, well, I can dress this up too. And I can go to the bar, I can go about my day, and I'm comfortable, but I can still look like a lady and I can still look good.
I can put these on with red
It's that
bottoms.
crossover appeal.
I can put these on with red bottoms or with running shoes.
And still look great and be comfortable. Being comfortable was what was the driving force, right? And he created an entire market segment just by merging two existing things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, what do they say?
But you got to know the culture to do that.
You know what's crazy too is thing I think now that we're saying all this stuff, it comes just popped in my head. You know, these big brands has all these revenues coming in. You would think they would be able to innovate and come up with a concept like an Instagram or a TikTok. And imagine if they were able to do something like that and be able to cross brand with other companies that they felt they would have a good pairing with. I just haven't seen anyone do that from a big retail perspective.
I mean, some are trying, right? I mean,
yes, they are. But has he had a breakthrough?
See, I don't know. I totally get what you're saying, but when it's that contrived, I don't know if it works. I think it has to be organic, or it has to be the perception of being organic.
I totally agree. I think I definitely think it has to be organic. I'm just thinking these brands has one-off. They have like startup culture. They invest in small like little projects on the side. Hey, you go off into that building downtown somewhere and you buy your little office and quote unquote look like a startup and feel like a startup. But I think you're right. Maybe it is to try. Maybe they still got to go through the bureaucracy to get it approved before they. If that's what's happening, then that's not a good thing.
I mean, TikTok is a phenomenon because it is not. You cannot say that it's only for children, because there are adults all over TikTok and they're singing, they're telling jokes, everybody is showcasing their talent or their clothes. And if you get enough eyes on you, and they all know this, and this is what they're doing it for, if they get enough eyes and a big enough following, those companies that you just pointed out, Chris, will pay them to wear their merchandise.
Well, some of them, not all of them.
Not all of them.
That's what we're talking about earlier, right? This is where I talk about get back. I don't want to say get back in the streets, but get back to the streets. Get back in amongst the people where they are and understand how to reach them. Sacai, right? It's a Japanese fashion brand, high fashion. Well, what are they known for? Why did it matter, right? What does Sacai do? And I'll read here. It just says, look, they were influential in breaking down the dichotomy between casual and formal clothing, right? And you had to do one or the other. And they said, well, we're going to do something different, and we're going to bring in, and we're going to go pair with Nike. And they created this weird looking shoe that's got two of everything on it. Two tongues, double swooshes, funny looking sole and heel on it, all this weird stuff. And then I'm going to put that on with this high fashion skirt and blouse. And you know how much those shoes sell for on the black market? I got two. And I ain't get them on the black market. I got them the legitimate way. I ain't going to tell you where my wife worked. But I have two pair of those things. And every once in a while, I'm like, what these Sakai's going for today? Let me go check out. Man, then people spending $500 for them pair of shoes, pair of sneakers. Because, like you said, they were in the street. They became the it thing in and amongst the people. It's really cool. The fashion's great. People love the way they look. Now, how long did it take them to produce that shoe? Did they go out and make a whole bunch of them and sell them and then find out it didn't work? Or did they put the concept out and see what happened on social media and then produce it? Or did they just simply make a small batch first to see if it was going to work and then make some more? Some of these big companies, it could be 9 months from, back to what Chris was talking about, from concept to it could be 9 months from when they start and have a prototype to putting that shoe on a shelf or putting that shirt on a shelf.
Yep.
9 months.
Yeah.
You've gone through 3 seasons.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore. That's not a style.
It's unbelievable.
That nobody's gonna want it.
You have too many people. That's the reason why we're talking about how do you improve the strategy, right? When we talk about mobilizing winning
Right.
culture, we talk about data and technology. Like when you're a C-suite, and that's why I ask leaders and especially CEOs. One of the first things I say from a strategic perspective, how is your strategy performing from an efficiency, and effectiveness, and an engagement perspective? Isn't efficient meaning are you able to have more output and achieve the smallest amounts of output with a small amount of resources, right? If you're
Right.
effective, how effective is your organization it is in achieving the outcomes that it tends to produce, and then also just overall engagement, not only just from your employees but from your customers. How what type of emotional commitment do your employees and your customer has to the organization and goals? Like, is your strategy doing that type of stuff? And
Right.
a lot of them, I'm pretty sure they're trying, but it's just like you said. I think they need to bring in a new type of culture to help them get to where they want to go, especially for this post-digital era we're about to enter into.
Totally agree. Totally agree. But to answer your question, Dedrick, they'll be the people they're talking about. Man, that shoe would have been hot last year, and it'll be right there on the clearance rack. And it'll be one of those things they trying to push off on you when they know you're in the store with the app. Guess what? We got these shoes that would have been hot last year over here on the rack. You can still wear them and go hiking or whatever.
Well, yeah, and some of it is funny that I don't know. I'm not a huge high fashion person, but some of it is like the real true high fashion folks set the trends, right? Some of it is trend setting, right? So they can take a little bit of time and do what they want, right? And then bring that to the market, right? At the fashion show here or wherever. They can do that. But what happens if somebody else is stumbling into the same or similar type of area and then they beat you to the punch?
See,
What if somebody else happened to have that, a shoe design that had kind of two of everything, and they put that out 3 months before Nike and Sacai were ready?
Oops.
Then Nike and Sacai might have been the copiers,
well,
even though maybe they weren't.
Well, and then I would also say that, it depends on your business model, right? So the business model that you just described is one that's built on what, like most luxury brands, exclusivity. So we're only going to
Mhm.
make a certain number of these shoes, pairs of these shoes, or these bags.
The ones that I want, the Sacai's that I want, you can't get. You know who
Exactly.
has a pair? LeBron.
Oh well, yeah.
LeBron got a pair. LeBron got a pair of the color code, or what they call it, the color that I want.
Right.
I can't get them.
I just put you on LeBron's level. You didn't even hear that. I said, oh,
Again, you go back to, I'll keep using that same collab, right? Which are hot, Nike and Sacai. I mean, again, it's a one designer, high fashion, and then athleisure, the crossover appeal. You can go wear those shoes into a not necessarily a ball, but into a high dollar dinner party
Mm-hmm.
and look exactly how you're supposed to look and will not look out of place.
right.
It's just it's different.
With your skinny tux pants and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, those skinny jeans, I resisted those. I still resist them, but I guess I'm gonna have to get some that's tight around the ankles so I can put my shoes on with my tongue covering up the shoe. I can't stand it, but whatever.
I got some on now so I can show off my Pumas.
I know Chris been on the joggers for a hot minute, boy. It took me a while.
I got
I
those.
was like, what? I
Those,
don't like those.
those are the most comfortable pants ever, dude. Like,
I know they are.
Lululemon, because they have like these dressy sports.
Yeah.
I've seen those. I
Yeah.
That's the reason why I didn't see that as other big brands, but I saw them there. So I'm going to have them in the cart. So I'm going to probably purchase them and just see how they feel. experience.
Now
But,
for those slightly smaller brands, your game needs to be on point when you can get that potential customer to come over and I'm gonna try one of these. Man, don't mess it up, right? You don't have that issue, that technological issue that you could have solved. That's a $10 problem by having somebody in the store. I can't even find a phone right now, but having one of your associates in the store check it every now and then. Right. Don't mess up that $100 sale when you could have solved it by $5.
Right. Exactly.
Or solved it with $5. Right.
Chris,
So,
oh man, it's all right. We good. DJ, what's that app doing right now? Oh, it's good. It's good. We straight. Like it's working. All right, good. I got the next hour.
Yeah, and don't be so large that you don't have a way. You need to flatten your organization and not be so siloed and have such a deep hierarchy. Because if you're at the storefront, that's literally your front line. If they don't know how to tell their own company that something's wrong with the app, that's a problem. Now, I don't know in this particular case if that store manager knew how to do that. My gut tells me he probably didn't know who to get a hold of. But you have to be more nimble so that those folks know, oh, if there's something wrong with the app, I can just go over here or pull this up on my phone and submit that. And it's right to the dev team or right into that department immediately. And it goes fast because it's coming from an internal employee telling us something's wrong with it.
Yeah. Well, I think exactly. And that's why my visualization of big businesses remind me of the trains when you go. I think it's either Japan or China, one of those countries, when a lot of people just comes out of the train at one time, and when people are trying to go in at the same time,
shoving them in there,
finding your way through, you end up missing it or you end up staying in. And that's the bureaucracy in big brands are just like that. They have so many people involved in trying to get in and out or do different things. All the good stuff gets pushed out or stays in, and it's just
they can't see it.
They can't see it. So I think that's unfortunate, and I think you got to be more nimble. You're right. Have these flat organizations, and then put people out in places to where they're creating these different experiences, whether it's startup-ish mode, whether it's their customer to retail experience, whether it's some other mobile experience. They need to put people and let them be their own entities and just kind of report in somehow. But I mean, I'm pretty sure some people are trying that, but we'll see how it evolves the next few years here.
Awesome. Well, thanks, fellas. This has been awesome. This is a great inaugural episode, and I think we covered some really interesting topics. And I hope people who are viewing, listening, find this insightful, knowledgeable, and fun. We want to talk about things that you guys are interested in. We want to have fun while doing it. And like I said, we're definitely going to bring in some guests on the show coming up, and just be around to educate. And if you guys want to leave some feedback, go ahead and do that, and we'll update the show. We'll take in some of the feedback. We'll cover some topics. Let's get it going.